We're recording. All right. Hiya. Welcome to my Compound Life. I'm your host, Jonathan. It's good to see you. This is a channel where we build assets, we build great habits to manage all of our assets, and of course, ultimately, we all want to build financial freedom. Okay. So today, it's my daily Bitcoin update. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at today. So today is the 9th of December. It's a Tuesday around 3 p.m. And in terms of Bitcoin price right now is around 90,200, right? It has been fluctuating for the past couple of hours around this range. I think everyone are just waiting for the FOMC meeting. FOMC meeting started today, right? However, in terms of announcing whether we'll have a rate cut, that will be for tomorrow and onwards, right? So for the time being, Bitcoin price, we are retracing between 89,000 to about 92,000. Okay, so in terms of the sentiment for Bitcoin today, right now, we are still at fear around 25. It's actually an improvement compared to yesterday. We were at 24. However, I think Bitcoin ever since stabilized a little bit in terms of pricing comparison to last week when we were around 16. So it was quite extreme fear last week. We are seeing gradual improvements for Bitcoin. Okay, so in terms of the Bitcoin price return, monthly return, so far for the month of December, well, we only not even halfway through it yet. Beginning of December, we are returning positive 0.06% as of yesterday's data. So just a recap, we have been performing quite poorly for Bitcoin for October as well as November, where October returned us negative 6.9%, followed by November another negative 17.67%. We do hope things will change, right? So all eyes on FOMC rate cut tomorrow, and whether that can gives us back our Santa rally, right? Because this time around in this specific Bitcoin cycle, it's indeed very disappointing for all. I think everyone was expecting an October, as well as a good return for November, which essentially this cycle, it's essentially just rectangle for all of us. So let's hope in terms of October, we will have some good relief rally coming. Okay, so in terms of Bitcoin ETF, looking at the ETF pricing, yesterday, the 8th of December, Bitcoin ETF, we were actually outflow 60 million. Okay, that's pretty big, right? In terms of Ethereum ETF, we actually received an inflow of 35 million. Okay, so I think one thing to also call out, been looking at the charts, if BTC charts, maybe if it's getting more dominance versus Bitcoin. So in that case, if a relief rally does start, very likely, we may see ETH slightly outperforming Bitcoin in this case, right? It does seem capital are getting rotated onto ETH as well as other altcoin, and I hope that will start soon. Okay, in terms of Solana ETF, yesterday, the 8th of December, it was a positive inflow of 1.2 million. Okay, so not a lot of excitement so far. So uh, overall for this week, as of yesterday's data, I mean only Monday's data, we are seeing an overall outflow of 60 million for Bitcoin. Okay, compared to, I mean, strictly speaking, it's only like a day's data, right? Compared to last week, it was also an outflow of 87, well, 88 million. Okay, the week before for Bitcoin, it was inflow of 70 million. Okay, followed by 4 other consecutive weeks of outflow, which are in the region of 1 billion plus dollars worth of outflow. Okay, so are we seeing sign of improvement? Are we seeing sign of reduced outflow? Okay, so we'll see. We'll see whether that would be the case. So I think let's quickly look at some news from yesterday slash today. In terms of Standard Chartered, right? They lowers Bitcoin forecast to 100,000. Okay, so the bank now seriously they think Bitcoin will be worth 100,000 at the end of 2025. I think that's a lot of our sentiment too, based on we only have a few more weeks in December. The trading, especially on Wall Street, will have limited few more weeks left. Whether we'll be able to get back to even 50 days moving average, I also have doubt, because the fact that we are kind of still in a pretty bearish situation, right? So so to a certain extent, I still felt maybe that's a sensible projection. I think Standard Chartered also mentioned that the reason that they kind of dropped down the forecast is essentially they felt that big companies are buying less Bitcoin, and ETF money, like ETF inflows, are also slowing down. Okay, so overall, I mean, Standard Chartered is not the biggest bank in America, but certainly it does carry a weight. So overall sentiment, I felt it's pretty bearish. Okay, because essentially it's showing less big players, Wall Street players, are excited about Bitcoin, right? So again, more mind share. It does felt that more mind share are getting shifted into AI. So that's why S&P 500, Nasdaq, AI stocks continue to pump. But certainly look at some of the positive side. Strategy, MicroStrategy, he bought nearly $1 billion in Bitcoin. Okay, so that's equivalent to about 10,624 Bitcoin. I think that's strategic in a way that, of course, I think Saylor, he bought Bitcoin at the low, so it's almost like buying the dip. But it's also showing major corporations are still stacking Bitcoin, right? It's so Michael Saylor said in I think the Bitcoin Dubai conference today that big banks have contacted him about launching Bitcoin related products. It's very positive. Essentially means Wall Street wants to develop more Bitcoin product, right? Something like BlackRock, the Bitcoin ETF has been one of their top performing products ever since in inception, right? In terms of the number of months that Bitcoin able to bring in all the liquidity into BlackRock, it was enormous in comparison to any other asset class that were put into BlackRock ETF, right? So essentially, Wall Street still wants to buy, but overall, with post October 10th situation, with the huge liquidation event, it does seem such events still has that cascading effect on retail in terms of their willingness to invest so far, right? So I do anticipate this will change, but not anytime soon, especially not anytime until after the FOMC announcement, whether there will be a rate cut. Okay, so of course, Bitcoin now currently holds around 91,000, 90,000, 91. This kind of shows buyers stepping in, and fear is kind of cooling down, right? So I felt it's mildly bullish, but most investors does seem to be seated on the fence right now and just waiting for the rate cut announcement, right? So I think in everyone's mind, 25 basis point rate cut, it's already priced in. Unlikely that we'll get 50, but you never know. You never know the full situation. One last thing to cover, I think interesting things to cover is Jack Mallers' Bitcoin company, 21, listed on the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, this morning, right? Just I think just moments ago, right? So Jack Mallers, he's the founder of Strike. So he successfully launched a new Bitcoin-focused company. It's called 21. So I think he's carrying out similar setup like strategy. Okay, so this is another sign that Bitcoin is entering the mainstream financial system. So very, very good. The more people knows about this, the more that it gets into the TradFi, the better, right? So definitely great implication because Bitcoin businesses are becoming part of Wall Street. So it's not outside TradFi anymore, right? And more importantly, it helps legitimize Bitcoin for traditional investors, right? There will be a lot of boomers or people like myself, at the more matured age, that knows about Bitcoin but doesn't really know exactly about buying through exchanges or storing in hardware wallet, etc. So this is kind of like their time or best means to onboard them into Bitcoin. And of course, all of this will lead to more capital, liquidity, and attention flowing into Bitcoin. So I reckon these are all bullish signals. Whether these are enough catalysts to push Bitcoin back to the 50 days moving average, I doubt it, right? However, it does seem with the rate cut we anticipate that comes in tomorrow, it may bring us a slight relief rally back into Bitcoin, right? Will we get a relief rally that brings us back to 110 by end of year? Personally, I don't foresee that, but I do anticipate we may have that chance if quantitative easing, like money printing, comes in, right? It has to be in the 30, 40, 50 billion worth of money printing on a monthly basis in order for us to see any of that. So in the meantime, that's it from my compound life. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please drop a like, hit subscribe. Even if you don't like the content, just drop a like and hit subscribe. Become my 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th subscribers. Let me know in comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.